Hi, everyone. It's Joe Chadburn, the Ambassador Network Director here at World Missionary Press. I'm with my good friend Yuri Ilnitski, originally from Ukraine. He now resides in the greater Atlanta area. Welcome, Yuri.
Thank you for inviting me, and I'm glad to have a conversation with you guys.
Yes. Well, as we discussed before, and I really want you to be able to share your heart about all things Ukraine, we're excited that we have been able to supply scripture booklets to many distributors who are ministering to Ukrainian refugees, both here in the United States, California in particular, and the nations surrounding, predominantly the nations surrounding Ukraine. So if you could just give a little bit of insight as far as how valuable that is. And I'd just like to talk about Ukraine and just let you share your heart here. I know your mother recently escaped Ukraine, and I know that that's a story in and of itself. So I'm going to give you the floor right now, and then we can interact a little bit.
Okay, as we know, everybody, that nobody was expecting that Ukraine will be invaded, because usually Ukraine, Russia, Belarus, all Slavic people, they are Russian-speaking people, and they call us a brotherhood. So it was impossible to even think about that this is gonna happen. Even I remember one night before, Brother Fred and Betsy, you guys may know them, they was representative of World Missionary Press. He called me a night and he said, our brothers was planning a mission trip to Ukraine. I was like, I have a feeling, I don't know yet nothing, but Holy Spirit moved my heart. I say, guys, it's maybe not the best time, because everything getting very heated, and the embassy of United States moved from Kyiv to Poland, Warsaw. I say, if the United States moved their representative, means it will be something going on. 3 o'clock in the morning, I received news, war started. It was terrifying. We don't understand why God allows, because we know from the Bible that God used different kings to invade, to do something. I know that something happening, and once it happened,
my theology also allows for the possibility that evil men just do evil things, and and the Lord works all things together for good and helps us in spite of that evil. So that's another angle to look at it from. But go ahead.
Yeah, this is what we understood later on, because the gospel usually, when it's gospel spread, when it's everybody is comfortable, when it's no pressure, everybody Christian. This is what Solomon says: "Don't give me enough righteousness, so I not forget about you." And comfort, yes. So, and don't give me too poor, so I not be stretch my head or hand or start stealing and blaspheme your name. So similar things happened there. People was so comfortable. People was when you talk about God on 1990s, when everything break up. When we preached the gospel, people was surrendering. I was student on college, and I was traveling on train, and I just opened the Bible. Many attention was there, and people start asking questions. I say, it's a Bible. Oh, this young man, it's the Bible, because there is even no Bibles on that times. It was so precious.
So that people understand the context of this. This was during the fall of communism, correct?
Yeah, fall of communism, correct. So it was so much attention to the gospel on that time. Many people, when I start speaking in one, you get surrounded immediately. 20, 30 people was listening, and they was interested in gospel, on news, on Bible, God, and many thousands of questions. Now in these times, when everything happened, even on Donetsk was happening in 2014, but people was it's just regional. It's not big deal. But when it's everything happened, when it's turned everything upside down, and those news terrified, we invaded, Ukraine invaded, people, there is words say, there is no atheist in hospital, on crash plane, or war. And this is where this reality come. People start realizing, they start reevaluating their values, what is about. And when many people before was saying, hey, on these times, Ukrainians also was fed up with Christianity, and many start like, nah, I don't need God, I'm good, I'm fine. So we was working there. Our church was working with In Touch Ministry. They send MP3 player. You guys, World Missionary Press, supply booklets. Gideon Brothers, they were supplying Bible, but request was not that high like we expect. 50 million people on a country. So, but when war is started, everything start changing. People start losing houses, cars, businesses, and they start see that they was talking yesterday with one friend, and today there is no friend anymore. Bomb shell bomb, and a whole 9-story building gone, and those people who is there is gone. So many people start realizing, hey, it's not I gonna wait in God when I get elder. This is what many people are saying. When I get elder, then I be gonna talk about God. But now I'm busy. But then now they're realizing it's not that situation now. So they start searching for some literature. They will start coming to the church. Same thing like happened here in 9/11. When 9/11 happened, church was overwhelming. So this is similar things happen on Ukraine. And when Russia start invading, churches start filled up, and people start searching God. And there was demand of literature, because you can speak one topic, but people have many more questions. For example, how to find help. Nobody helping. Many turn back, and many disappear. Get that, So those booklets, for example, have from above. It was answered right there. Boom. And obviously, our brothers start seeing many needs of literature, and also different aids like medication, clothing, other things. So was a start. This was a start. Many not comprehend what's happened, why it's happened, what's the reason. But thankfully, we have a support from different missions that step in, and they say, hey, we are here to you, and if you need it, we're gonna supply. And this is how everything started. Now, when people start losing houses, they start refuging, they start moving toward somewhere where is no war. In Ukraine, by statistics, internally, meaning inside the Ukraine, was moved about 15 million people.
Wow.
This is what the government know. We know that thousands of people disappear. We don't have a count on, because there is war. There is no way to count. So, but the approximate people what's buying tickets on the start, when they buying tickets, later the government allow all the trains, buses going for free, just to move people out from the heated situation. And Russia saying, "Oh, we're not targeting civilians. We target just military." Okay, 2-3 days possible. Yeah, they did. On the first day, they bombard all the airports, even civilian airports. They bombard those, so nobody can use airports. But after a few days, they start bombing everything. and those missiles, what they sending, they're not sending smart missiles. They say like fireworks stuff, you know. So they just boom, where is hit? They know they even doesn't know.
Just blows things up indiscriminately. It's not precision guided, anything sophisticated what they were using with that.
So and that's why many missiles they hit like skyscrapers and 9-story buildings, mostly what's built in Ukraine, and those people just perish. It's gone.
That's horrible.
Now, when everything started, people in Ukraine and all the churches here in America wake up, because many of them, they have relatives, and we start looking how to evacuate them. And European Union and United States, Canada, they decided to do refugee plans. But since there is no United States embassy in Ukraine, everybody must whoever have a visa, they must travel to Euro Union across the border, Euro Union embassy to get the visa to fly back here or any other countries. And we have about 7 or 8 million. On the first few days, 4 million people moved external out of the country.
Yeah,
it was overwhelming. I remember I rescued my mom about 7 days, after 7 days. But even that time, people was waiting 7 days in the line. The lines was overloaded. And thankfully, brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, they wake up, they get very quickly to the borders. They start serving. And many people, they saw a kid was hit with brick and had to split it from bomb shelf. And they saw this, they cannot tolerate on their, the other window blow and cut the head of her husband. There is real testimonies. And they saw that, and they come. And our brothers on mostly Poland brothers. Later, we our country and our church also joined on the Poland border. They start receiving those people, and those who live on those terrifying moments when they saw they saw how his blood spilled over the apartment and everything, and they start talking things. They say, and some of them, they say, I'm Jewish, I never believe in God. Why has happened? Where is the God? They start asking those questions, and brothers start comfort them. They start telling, hey, if that country will obey God, they never gonna attack at first place. The thing is, they not obey God. They not obey commands. This why war started. This why is so it's. But it's not explainable when somebody saw their kids blowed with the hit, with the brick or window cut head.
People decapitated and having their skulls bashed open. That's terrible.
There is many more stories. We're talking 4 million people in just few days. And
we see a little bit on the news, but that's minuscule compared. Did your mom have to see any
news in the United States? It's less than 1% what we see reality.
Yeah. Did your mom have to witness any of the carnage before she escaped, or did she get out without having to deal with that?
When it started, I was not sleeping almost 7 days because 7-hour difference. So everything was happening during the day. It's midnight, after midnight. So I'm watching news, and thankfully my mom lives in West Ukraine. It's closer to the border, Ukrainian border, to the Poland border, Europe border. But those who live on East Ukraine, they experience that. This is the harshest East Ukraine, Central Ukraine, Northern Ukraine. There was where is everything terrified. For example, there is Bucha, city Bucha near to Kyiv. We even now they finding 3,000 burials in one place. It's like animals, you know. They was killing, mass killing, and then when it's people start waking up and they start asking questions. The Russian government brought crematoriums, portable crematoriums, and they was burning those people out. They brought like 5 or 10 crematoriums on Bucha region, Irpin region, and they was burning those people. My mom city was also bomb shells, but not much infrastructure. It's most was a few shells that was bombarded on airports, and since it was not in the refinery stations, there is a lot of refinery stations on West Ukraine, and they bombard those too. So it was, but since people were standing on I get the videos from our relatives. People were standing on the field doing something, and they watching missiles was flying like airplanes, and they was noisy.
Wow.
And they're like, okay, one is flying, and another is flying, and the speedy ones you hear when it's already explode.
Yeah. Well, it's a blessing that your mom and so many were able to escape. I just feel horrible for those who couldn't, and just the state of affairs, because there's just so much devastation. You just wonder how it will be, rebuilt. I mean, it's happened time and time again in this world. Things are rebuilt after war and destruction and all that, but it's a horrific, needless, senseless thing that happened, and you hate to see that inflicted upon any people. And I can't imagine, especially from your own your homeland, your native land. So now you spoke of the brotherhood. The Ukrainians speak Russian, and so this to you was kind of this had to have been a huge betrayal, like a Judas thing almost, a big betrayal of really brother rising up against brother in this.
But as Bible says, we already knew that.
Well, that's
for Christians, real Christians, was not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, but that's how it felt, though. That had to have been how it felt. I mean, just a huge betrayal.
But psychologically, to understand, hey, it's really happening. It was hard to believe.
Yeah, because there's so many things under the surface that the media doesn't cover, and that's why this conversation is good, because it's more as far as in depth and a human interest type thing, instead of this bad man bombed this place and this happened, and then you're just seeing pictures. But when you get down to it on the human level and hear about what's happened, that's something. Now let me ask you. I want to make sure I've got this straight. Now, so you knew Jesus before the fall of communism?
I know about God.
Okay.
That's why my heart is burning
so what
so
sparked
much.
So what was it at the fall of communism? Because you said you were ministering to people after the the fall of communism. What's kind of the timeline of your story, your testimony with the fall of communism and witnessing to people during that time?
Okay, on communism, everybody was Orthodox. Everybody know God, that God exists, and the Orthodox approach, it was God exists, but children, it's not allowed to get to the church.
So it was more, help us out so that we understand this. So it was more of a state-controlled church, is what it was.
Yeah, it is.
So this is what it
definitely
was. Okay.
Because the priest have to report who was there, which kids. Because my parents was more leading to the Christianity, and my parents give it to me the permission that I can go to the church, Orthodox state church, registered, what this was allowed. And when I get there, the principal of the school and policemen, they catch me and they say, "Oh, you will be in trouble. We will put you a juvenile prison for that." And they say, who granted you to get to the church? And I told them, okay, God give me on that moment wisdom. I say, okay, I decided to go myself. And they say, you go with your permission of the parents. I say, no, I told them that I want to go. And they say, oh, then we need to talk also to your parents, and they will be lose the job, and they may go to prison too. And I say, what's wrong if we go? And this was very, very like tough situation. I'm not talking about the evangelicals. Evangelicals get in prison 25 years straightforward.
Yeah. This was just for having interest in going to the state church. They were coming at you at that point, you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when communism, but my understanding about God, this is why I'm preaching gospel even here in the United States, because even when everybody have a label Christian country, believe me, there is many people who don't know God, even like me. I knew it God because I was Orthodox, but when we get to the Orthodox church, the priest was singing in Latin. So you're not getting anything. You just come and go, and you have some pictures, and that's it. We understand God from the picture. We saw icon, and this is what we believe in God. We don't know how to have a relationship. We don't know that we possibly have a relationship. We don't know that we can be saved. We know that we go hell, and there is heaven, but maybe only priests go to heaven. And
now, so you, because my upbringing may have been similar, because in the Roman Catholic Church, there was a lot of Latin in certain masses, and you didn't understand. So you'd see statues and the icons, the pictures that you might be able to get something from, and from just oral tradition, maybe from your grandmother or something, and what she believed. But as far as really hearing the gospel and knowing about having a relationship with Jesus, that was kind of not a thing back then. So is that similar?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
okay.
this is where our brothers from United States mostly they came over, and they start explaining what's going on, who is God, why we here, who we are. That also they they affirm us that if we believe, we will have a salvation. We will be saved, not just priests. So it was revolutionary. It was mind blowing. Even
so
now,
this was right after the fall of communism. You're saying these people from the West came. Okay, and this is when you really heard the gospel, and it changed your life.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
There was it was big change. Even when they preached to us, it was so deep, and other churches, some brothers who get the Bible, they start reading and they start explaining us, because mostly missionaries, they came over to Ukraine and big cities, but on small cities there was none. So Gideons, they give Bibles, and people start reading, and pastors from generations, they start reading the Bible, they start explaining on their theology, what they thinking is. So we was searching, we was navigating like a baby try to walk. This was like this. It was not a ready cooked gospel.
Yeah.
So and I value so much, because for me to get who is God, how to get saved, it was much searching. This is how God says, search me, and I will reveal to you. So this was much like searching, and with time the gospel start open up, and you start seeing, and with satellite TV, we start hearing some preaching. There was also they call good news. It was radio, AM radio, and we was listening from Canada, gospel, not gospel, preaching. They was preaching, because here everybody understand that. For us, it was preaching, but they preach about how engine work, and we don't know how to start the car.
Yeah, just the basics, the foundation.
We even doesn't have a basics.
Yeah.
And even now, when I speak with some people, mostly Muslims or Hindus, or even our country, Jews, I told them about the salvation is about the faith. They say, what kind of other ritual you have to do? I say, that's it. If you believe, no, it's impossible. No, it cannot be that simple. It cannot be, and that easy to get to the God. That easy. How then? Who gonna pray for me? This is another thing. Who gonna pray for me? Are you gonna pray for me, or any priest gonna pray? Are you priest? Are you pastor that you can? No, you can pray yourself. It's impossible. No, how myself can approach to holy God? This is what's like. What we thinking that is simple, but people even today, when we say accept Jesus Christ as your Savior, and they look into us, what should I do?
Especially when you tell him he's already accepted you. He just invites you to participate. I mean, there's already a seat at the table for you. You don't need he is your priest and you're part of a priesthood. And that does take some undoing of prior programming and indoctrination and all.